Thank you for sticking with us. You know, Guy, classrooms are a lot different today than when you and I were back in school. You know, we were flipping through the books and had our pen and paper. Technology is a huge piece of what our kids experience in the classroom. From mobile devices to computers to internet accessing devices. It's really the wave of education of the future.
Absolutely.
So Humble ISD needs to stay on top of that. And one thing that we did do is we created a technology and data governance committee to explore these issues. And with us today, we have Mr. Robert Scarfo, who is a member of the Technology and Data Governance Committee. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate that.
Hopefully you're enjoying your summer.
Yeah, it's off to a hot start.
Houston.
No surprise there.
We are in Houston, that's right. So Robert, this past year, Humble ISD instituted a new program, Bring Your Own Device to campuses for our middle school and high schoolers. Right. Be it a tablet, your personal cell phone, laptop. Year one's in the books. What's your assessment of how that went?
I think it's going well, and I think we have to move in that direction. And the only issue is, I mean, it's good that the students who have their own devices can use them with the teachers' approvals in classrooms as they need to. But the high schoolers can use them in the hallways at lunchtime, and that gives them that freedom because that's kind of how they live. So, and it's okay. And as long as things are monitored and we're not going places we shouldn't be, but I think that's going well. And as we expand that and see how it moves. I'm glad you mentioned the committee, and I was really happy to have initiated that back last summer, so it's over a year. And I made a promise at the convocations last August that we would have a plan in place, a technology plan in place, and we did. And Ms. Conrad chaired the committee. I asked her to chair that. Mr. Rushing and I served on the committee with her, but we've moved forward, and it kind of ties into what we need to have in place as far as having robust Wi-Fi in the buildings, which we didn't have. Right. And by, I guess it'll be the winter, January of 16, every facility will be totally, I don't want to say wired, but they will have the hubs and the capacity in broadband space so that we can use the technology. And the committee also includes not just the technology side of the house, but also curriculum, which brings in professional development. There's so many spokes to that wheel that have to work together in order for it to turn properly. And I think we're going in that right direction because this summer, Dr. Sconzo has put an initiative in place that the math and English curriculum will get integrated into the technology so that we will be able to use it in the classroom. But the professional development, key piece, right? Because the teachers, you can't just assume every teacher knows how to do this, that, and the other thing, or how to use the technology in the most effective way. So that's key, and that'll happen over this summer and into next year, where they'll get the training they need, because that's going to be crucial. But the big thing was we have to have the capacity in the buildings in order to go anywhere. So that was step one. Right. And the board was behind that, and I think it was like $6.5 million for the first year to get that done. But as you guys know, we decided as far as implementing, we'd go outside and outsource to a company in a 5-year program. They're responsible for getting everything in place, maintaining it, and upgrading it. And at the end of the 5 years, well, we'll start over again. But I think that turned out to be the best solution for that. So that's a long-winded answer to your question, but I mean, really crucial. It's all so all
there's so many spokes to the wheel. Yep. It is all intertwined. And we have a big district. There's 40,000 students. You have 5,000 employees. You have 40-some buildings. I mean, really having the connectivity to get everybody where they're actually able to access that technology is a key piece to that. So, and I appreciate the fact you guys are educators, but sometimes you do have to outsource help, and there's right people that can come in and technology changes quickly. Obviously, those people can stay on top of that and help make sure Humble ISD is at the forefront of where we need to be with that.
Because it's hard to create that for yourself, and when that's not your mission.
Sure.
And the company I work for, we are an outsourcer, so we believe in outsourcing. So that's why I was very favorable to that position. And the other part of this too, as Dr. Sconzo knows, we've talked about this in committee, is the type of devices. Right now we're kind of locked because the TEA contracted with Pearson as we're moving more and more online testing for the STAR and for all other kinds of things. Well, right now the only platform that they had developed it under was Microsoft. So all the Apple devices will not be useful or effective to do that. I'm hoping, Guy, that TEA will pressure Pearson to say, no, you're going to have to add platforms so that, it could be on an Android platform, an Apple platform, because then we will have more opportunity to have different types of devices. Right now we're kind of limited, so I worry about that, because that's going to really, we're going to hit a wall, and we don't want to do that, because a lot of students have devices that won't be compatible with what they can access.
No, you're absolutely right, unfortunately. Robert, I want to give you a quick chance to get philosophical if you want to. and you've kind of alluded to it, but I want to restate it to lead into my question, and that is, it was under your presidency that a board technology and data governance committee was birthed. So back then, a year ago or so, you had to have a vision. I mean, you were seeing something that was absolutely essential, as you saw it, for our district, for our kids. Could you share what
was going through my
what was
little brain? Yeah. Well, I actually even goes back farther. I mean, back 2 years ago. And when I saw the opportunity when Ms. Conrad made herself available and decided to run, I think it was the right thing, because she brought something we didn't have on that board, and that was the technology background. And that's why I asked her to chair that committee. And I'll tell you, she's just done that in spades, done a great job. Because I was worried, Guy, and I made those comments at the convocation that we were behind the wave, not on the wave, and we needed to catch up. And I think we've made some strides. There's a lot to do and a long way to go, but I think it's set in motion now. And I think you guys have the right plan, and I think the board's willing to fund it, and we can see, looking out, how much we'll need each year so that we can stay competitive. And also it even goes to retaining and attracting quality teachers, because they, especially the younger ones, they want to have that availability.
Well, and that's how they've learned through college.
Absolutely right.
It's how our children learn these days. They can access the internet. When you go to a job now, they're not flipping through a book. It's technology driven, so we need to follow suit.
So I'm glad. I'm glad that I made that decision back then. I think she was a great addition, and I stand by that, and I think it's paid great dividends to us, because I was really concerned, and that was my vision, that we needed to get there, and we needed to have a plan, because you can't get anywhere unless you have a plan to do it, and then you monitor and you review, and you have metrics of how you're doing, and I think we've done that. So I'm really proud of that.
Well, and again, under your leadership, you and the board set that as a priority, and that just makes a huge difference when the board sets that priority. The rest of us are going to rise to the occasion.
Exactly right.
Winding up. I know we went over our segment time, but Robert, thank you. Yeah, he's always worth it. Appreciate your time very much.
I love it.
Data governance, technology, all important issues for our students, and under your tutelage and the rest of the committee, we appreciate the work well done. And we look forward to seeing great things in the future from our technology side. So appreciate it. And for our audience, thank you for staying with us. And Guy and I will be right back.